Good morning, I'm Stephanie Mead, and we are at Premier Pet Supply in Beverly Hills. We're joined this morning with Mike. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Stephanie.
We are going to talk a little bit about dental health for your dog, or just for your pets in general. And I have a dog too, and I've noticed sometimes that her breath gets a little stinky. Is that kind of like the beginning signs of when you should start really taking into account your dog's dental health?
It is. I think even before that, it's something we should be conscientious of all the time. So February is actually Pet Dental Health Month, and we celebrate that every year by doing 10% off all of our products, because we really want to motivate and inspire people to be more aware of making sure that we're keeping track of what's going on in our dog's mouth.
For sure.
Sometimes it's a little difficult because we're not literally looking directly at the teeth as much as, say, a vet does when you do a regular exam, but it's something we should do more often, because what happens is if that plaque starts to develop and really build up in the mouth, you get the bad breath like you mentioned.
Right.
But what's much worse than that is that could lead to periodontal disease. And periodontal disease is something that is prominent in any dog or cat at 3 to 4 years old, and it significantly gets worse as time goes on if there aren't preventative measures taken.
Awesome. So it sounds almost like us humans too. We need to, brush our teeth, and you need to keep your pet's teeth safe too. Now, there's different ways of doing this, and there's several varieties here that you have in order to keep your dog's mouth or your animal's health.
Yeah, there's a lot of options out there. Simply giving your dog a regular bone or treat is something that is ideal, because what happens is your dog is chewing and they're gnawing and they're using their back teeth, which is naturally scraping plaque and tartar. But what's not happening is they're not using their show teeth. They're their canines, the ones in the front, and those can still accumulate some bacteria. So having some type of way of supplementing that is great. So one of my favorite products actually is really easy. It's called Plaque Off.
Okay.
And what you can do is just an enzymatic seaweed. You sprinkle this. There's a little scooper in there. You put a tiny bit over the food each day, depending on the dog's weight.
Okay.
And what it does is systemically, so from the inside out, it'll prevent the bond of plaque and tartar from forming on the teeth, and it really does help reduce the amount of plaque that you'll see over time. And especially if you do like a professional cleaning, like you were saying you were going to do for Gigi, if you want to maintain that and not have to do it as often, this is a great way to supplement.
And I've noticed too, alongside that, you have these water additives too. So you're not manually going in there and fighting with your dog, trying to get it off the plaque or their teeth clean.
You see them holding toothbrush, right? So, sometimes that can be difficult, and you're fighting the dog and getting a toothbrush in there. An easy way to do it is with a thimble. There's the thimble style you can put on your finger, so you can really, not be as obtrusive with a big brush and get in there and be easy. But the water additives, like you mentioned, are great. They come flavored or flavorless. This is something you just put right into the bowl. Okay. And what it does, it just definitely helps freshen the breath and mouth, and again, it helps really reduce the plaque and tartar on the teeth.
For sure. And we were talking, there it is, the dental care kit. I have this for my dog, and I think it actually works really, really well, just because of the way the toothbrush is shaped. It's got like 3 sides. Yeah,
so Vets Best does a good job with their toothbrush, because it is 3-sided, so like you said, it hugs the tooth. It does a good job of getting that, so you're not having to work so much in the mouth to get the plaque and tartar out. But again, doing something that's as easy for you and the dog as possible. There's even dental wipes that we carry that you can use. But doing the bones, the Plaque Off that I talked about, they have their own treats that actually has that seaweed that's in there. The issue is this, is that if that plaque builds up, the periodontal disease is a bacteria that gets into the bloodstream, and that can lead to heart disease, liver disease, and kidney disease. So that's why it's so important to make sure that we're keeping up with it. Like you said, we brush our teeth every single day. How often are you really brushing your dog's teeth?
Well, how often are you supposed to be doing that?
Every day.
Every single day.
And it's a lot to ask for many people to do. That's why having a supplement or an additive is a lot easier. But at least try to get in there and brush at least once a week. But truthfully, I mean, they're eating every day, just like we're eating every day. Any of that food that sits in the mouth actually, it has a propensity to accelerate that plaque and tartar from forming, so it's important to get that out.
Okay, a lot of good information here and some stuff that I didn't even know. So now I have to go back into my dog's mouth today and make sure her teeth are clean. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And these products you do have across all of your stores here across Southeast Michigan.
All 13 locations, like we said, and this month of February, all dental products, which we have 100 or more of, are all 10% off.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really good information here for the safety of your pets. We're going to toss it back to you guys in the studio.